Y'all ready?
Yes.
Hail. It's rolling.
1, 2, 3, 2, 3.
Music is a unique form of art using the form of sound. Wikipedia defines music as a use of rhythm, harmony, and melody. I think for many artists, music can be a way for them to tell a story and show expression. Last December, a high school acquaintance of mine named Ronnie Roddy DM'd me on Instagram and asked me to help him make a documentary for him and his group that he had formed recently. That group is named Musically Inclined. The music you're hearing right now is a good opener to part one of this documentary. I hope you guys enjoy a jazz fusion group I feel has so much potential in this world.
Ronnie Roddy Jr. I am from Baldwin, New York.
What inspired you to make the group?
What inspired me to make the group was when Matt Barba put out on Facebook, I believe, that the library, the Baldwin Public Library, was doing a music series and was wondering if any bands or artists would be into doing that. And when I saw that, I thought this was going to be a really good opportunity to form something of my own. And this was around when COVID was lifted-ish. And I reached out first to my brother Joseph Gallagher, great drummer who I played with for a long time and still do play with, and he's an amazing guy. And I eventually reached out to Matt Maynor, who is one of the saxophone players in the band, and Ericos Valemes, who I met through a great guitar player named Rob Meza, who's in the band Dysfunctone. And we all got together, and I had songs already laid out, and we connected from there. We formed and did the series.
All right, I'm cut.
All right. I thought that was really good.
Keyboard was the first instrument I've ever played. My grandmother brought a keyboard for my sister, but she wasn't interested in it. And I was probably 4 or 5 years old. And I just saw it, I banged on the keys, and I just enjoyed it. From there, I took lessons. It wasn't the easy way of taking lessons because I gotten switched to multiple teachers, but eventually I grew and developed in my piano playing. My favorite genre of music is gospel. My great grandmother, when she was singing hymns around the house, and later on when my uncle would introduce me musically to a great gospel artist named Andre Crouch. And he helped me inspire so many ideas of music, but also not just the music sense, but the spiritual sense of the message that's behind the music. So this album right here, the original Nina Simone, My Baby Just Cares For Me, this was actually Recently bought, I guess maybe within a few years ago for Christmas. It was for my mom because she introduced me to Nina Simone. But the original album is called Little Girl Blue. This was actually Nina's first album, and every time I listen to it, it's amazed me how creative Nina Simone was and artistic she was in her playing. The next album was my father's, the Clark and Duke project. The Stanley Clark, he's a bass player that I told you I met, and George Duke, the late great George Duke. When I first heard the album, when I first heard a song from this album, was the song Wild Dog. I know it's small, but it's called Wild Dog. And I asked my dad, I said, hey, is that a guitar? And my dad said, no, it's actually a bass. I didn't really believe him for a while. But eventually I was convinced that it was a bass. But this was an album that he has, and it's a really, really cool album. Check it out. It's a good album.
So my name is Joseph Gallagher. I'm from Baldwin, New York. That's in Nassau County, Long Island. When I was in third grade, I believe that's when we picked our instruments. I put down, my brother's a trumpet player, I put down trumpet. My sister's a clarinetist, so I put down clarinet. And then I think I put down saxophone, just because. And then my mom, she worked in the elementary school I went to. So she went to the music teacher, and she was like, just give Joe drums. He plays football. He's used to like just banging on stuff. Just give him that. And from then, that stuck with me. I played all the way through elementary school, middle school, got into high school, played it, and I never changed. I never wanted to change. So, I mean, I've had interest in other instruments. Like, my brother's a great guitarist. I've always wanted to play guitar. Same thing with piano. I love playing piano, but drums has been the main thing that stuck with me, and that's the main instrument that I play musically inclined. And I'm happy to say it's still the first instrument that I've ever played. So... So I'm interesting because I don't really have a specific. I mean, I'm a drummer, so anything that has a beat that I'm like nodding my head to, it like gets me going. Like, I love it. I played football when I was younger, so everyone always thought that you needed like rap music or like hardcore rock to get into it. When I was in college, like my game day playlist was like different rap artists, pop. I would listen to even some classical music in there, like anything that has a beat that I really can like kind of groove on and like just makes me happy and feel good. That's the type of music I listen to. So I will say definitely my drumming is a little different from most like technical jazz. Like, it is more on the funky side. And honestly, I incorporate a lot of hip hop into it as well. One of my favorite rap artists is Kendrick, and I love him more than anyone because he uses actual live tracks. So the drums are recorded. They're not just like from computer software or whatever. So he brings in drummers, and I love that. So a little bit of what he has in his songs, I like that style. From a more of a group type of setting, I do love more of, like I said, like kind of those like upbeat type of grooves and everything. And one of my favorite bands that does that is Coldplay. Like their drummer, he's phenomenal. Takes simple beats and he's able to kind of add his own flair to them and kind of make them upbeat and make them like sound amazing and really catchy. So I really try and like incorporate that a little bit.
My name is Michael Smith. I'm from Huntington, Long Island. Now I live in Massapequa Park. Yeah, when I think about live performances, I don't even know their name. I want to say it was radio something, and they were just it was a group of 3 people. It was guitar, it was a electric nylon string guitar, saxophonist, and then a drummer. And this was in Ronnie Scott's in London, and I just think they had an amazing live sound and presence. They were just improvising, and it sounded amazing. They actually did Georgie Porgy, I believe. Porgy? I forget how to say it. And it sounded nothing like the original song. The improvisation was just amazing, and yeah, I can only wish to be that good.
Did any of your parents influence that type of music that you listen to now?
So no, actually, not at all, really. My dad just liked, classic rock, kind of like dad rock too. Beach Boys. My mom liked kind of just the hits. This is the top 40 she listened to all the time on the radio. So yeah, they weren't. My dad had his genre. My mom wasn't really bound. Started the trumpet around 9. Played that until the end of high school, and then picked up guitar during the beginning of COVID. Well, officially picked it up because I owned one and I sucked at it, and I never really wanted to learn it until obviously everything shut down. I had the time, and then yeah, I think this marks, I would say, 4 years of playing it a lot, and that's my main instrument now. I kind of play trumpet still. It's not really that I follow these artists a lot and listen to every song of theirs because I'm obsessed with their sound. It's more spread out, like, oh, I love the sound of this song. Like, there's some Kool in the Gang songs, Earth, Wind & Fire songs, even Michael Jackson songs. I just listen to chords because that's what I do. I play a lot of rhythm in this band. And yeah, I just have an ear out all the time for rhythm guitar I like.
My name is Kevin Jackson. I am from Freeport, New York. One day I just get a single text from Ronnie, and he comes to me, he's like, I had this group, and it would be wonderful if you can join. And I was just every day, I was in the city one day. He called me, and I was like, you know what? Sounds like a good idea. So I like playing, I like expressing myself through my music, and it just came together. So I was like, you know what? I'm on board. So my favorite genre of music is soca music. It's a part of the Caribbean culture. So
Trinidad?
Yeah, yes. I do play steel pan, and so I've seen a lot of live performances, and those always are just amazing to me. You know, since it's many people and very different instruments, many different personalities coming together, enjoying the same type of music. So I come with this band. We all come together. I do love making music, so it's always an experience. Piano is actually my first instrument. So saxophone came afterwards. So that's what saxophone actually was the reason why I fell in love with jazz music, because it just the sound and the quality of a saxophone player with jazz, it always amazed me. So I just fell in love with it as soon as I started playing. So somebody that resonates with me is Duke Ellington. I do like his playing and the sound and the quality of the music. It sticks with me, even though I don't listen every day, but it does stick with me, and I love that sound that he can produce.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh no.
My name is Greg Tyson. I'm from Long Island, New York. I first got into the group by Ronnie adding me in a group chat, and then I've been really busy with work and whatnot. I just couldn't find the time to join the band, but then, Ronnie kept pushing and pushing for me to join the group so I can expand my playing opportunities. And joining Musically Inclined is one of the greatest honors of my life. Just knowing that I get to play with a bunch of people that I've known since starting at Nassau Community College, and knowing that all the gigs that we have done in the past, everything from churches to colleges, city gigs, like, it's incredible, and we got plenty more shows to come in the future. I have been told this since I joined the band, that our band kind of resembles Steely Dan in a way in terms of musical style, and listening to some of their songs that they do in their repertoire kind of reminds me of what we do musically, and I could definitely see a resemblance. And I think it sounds great that we kind of sound like them, but we also want to stick to original work of ours. I started off on the alto sax in the 4th grade, and when I reached junior high, I expanded to the tenor sax. Then alongside into high school, I started picking up the baritone sax, and when you play one sax, you can play them all.
Are there any states you'd want to visit to go perform at?
I would love to, for Musically Inclined, to expand going upstate, because there's a lot of playing opportunities up there. I mentioned playing upstate at a jazz festival I've played, twice at. It's a wonderful place to play at, and with the way the direction our band is going in, I think we shouldn't have any problems doing so. It's like we're getting better and better every day, and there's plenty more for the band to come along.
All right.
Series thing. It wasn't at the library. It was a series, but we did it at Matt Barba's studio, Regrown Recordings, and that experience was really amazing. It was the first time where all 4 of us, me, Joseph Gallagher, Eric Velemez, and Matt Maynard, played music, since the lockdown, and it just brought that really good vibe. I was like, we can't just leave it like this, afterwards. We gotta continue on. And it was such a fun experience just to play with people again, and that really helped me.
My name's Matt Menor. I'm from Massapequa, South Shore of Long Island. Well, I first got into the group, I met Ronnie at Nassau Community College about 2 or 3 years ago when we started going there, and we played in the jazz band together just for fun. And he kind of, we heard each other playing, and we kind of decided we liked each other's sound, and Ronnie was actually the first to approach me and ask him if I could help him out with a small project he had going on, and I was delighted to help him out and kind of get to play with him one-on-one, and it grew from there. The instrument that I'm playing now with Musically Inclined is, the tenor saxophone, and I started out on that probably about 10 years ago.
Have you seen anybody, let's say in the city?
Billy Joel. It's probably the only live, big artist I've seen. Yeah.
Are there any other type of those artists that you think influence Musically Inclined?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think there's really plenty of artists that do. If I were to consider individual musicians, Herbie Hancock style, definitely. Thelonious Monk with his piano writing. At least for me personally, saxophonist-wise, Stan Getz is a huge impact on me. Obviously, the great John Coltrane, Sonny Stitt, Cannonball, all those guys. Then as a group, I mean, personally for myself, I strive to sound something like Snarky Puppy or the Yellow Jackets, both like jazz fusion groups. But if I were to I say those because if I were to narrow it down to like one genre, it'd probably be jazz fusion, because we have just such a mixture of genres going on into one.
My name is Nsikak Ekong. I am from Hempstead, New York. So originally I got into musically inclined because Ronnie asked me to take pictures for them. Actually, the first time I took photos for them was about last year in June, like almost July. It was kind of warm that day, and he asked me to take photos of them when they were doing their single for an album for the album, and they were doing Untitled Notes. So he asked me to take pictures for that, and since then I just been taking pictures on my camera, to like little gigs that they had, especially like in the Baldwin area. It wasn't until one of the gigs that we had in Baldwin, which was at St. Christopher's, that I was like, you know what? I'll bring my trombone, and I was like, can I play with you guys on the last piece? And Ron was like, yeah, sure, come on. And since then, it turned out to be playing one piece. Then it turned to Ronnie was looking for a trombone player, and he was gonna, I guess, do like an advertisement for a trombone player. I was like, I played trombone, played with you back in NCC. It was like, I have no problem stepping in. And since then, been able to play with them as a trombone player, and it's a pleasure to do so, because even throughout college, like since high school, I've been playing trombone for such a long time. I don't want to lose that ability. So being able to play post college into my young adulthood, it's been it's an honor to continue playing and still keep that gift alive. My favorite genre of music is definitely the 1980s. So basically anything in that decade, it goes from jazz, R&B, rock, pop, even blues. So any music from it, like any artist in that decade, because I like the 80s culture. So basically 1980s, anything from it. Definitely was an influence from my parents. So my parents definitely grew up during that era, the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So my dad is a big lover of 1970s music. My mother is big on 90s and 80s hip hop. So definitely my parents were definitely influenced when it came to that music, because they had Michael Jackson albums all over the house. They had a Beatles album somewhere in their albums, and they had a lot of variety of artists that came out of from their era. So as a kid, I would just listen to it and just get into it. And once I got into into my adulthood and I got Spotify, I pretty much created like a whole 1980s playlist of like different artists and just listen to different music. And then my parents would be like, hey, I know that song. That was when I was a teenager. A lot of the songs that we play are mostly some of them are covers from artists like Grover Washington Jr. I know we're doing a song from what's the name of that artist? Forgot the name, but it's a song from like the 70s. So definitely a lot of the music that we're playing, even a lot of the originals, they're definitely based off of and inspired by songs that came out in the 70s and the 80s. So it's nice to play that that kind of music and pay homage to that genre, that era of music, because it's definitely a lot of artists now use that from back in the day to into their music now. Like even there's a pop singer who used a song from Grandmaster Flash in one of her music, and I think because of that, Grandmaster Flash's music is now becoming more popular now because of that. I play cello, which actually is my primary instrument. I actually played cello since I was in the 3rd grade, and I'm still trying to get back into it because I played cello, since past after high school at NCC and then in Oswego, and just now it's like I don't have a personal cello right now, but one of my objectives for this year is to hopefully get a cello so I can play hold on to that side of my music career, like playing classical music, even possibly even playing some jazz tune on cello, because there's some cellists that have played many jazz tunes on a cello. And of course, Yo-Yo Ma is like my inspiration when it comes to like cello music. Like he's really good, actually, since I was a kid, because he appeared on an episode of Arthur.
Okay.
And I still remember it.
That's hilarious. Wow.
Alright, brother. Let's do that section.
My name is Russell Ettinger. I am from East Meadow, New York originally, and now I live in Manhattan. I moved to the city a few months ago, and it's been great.
Do you need a second, or do you want to run it?
I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Yep. I'm really into like a lot of like the R&B, and then sometimes I swing into like the 90s rap. If I had to pick a genre that's my favorite, definitely something along those lines, like 90s rap, R&B, leaning into funk a bit, just somewhere inside that like soul range. That's definitely somewhere that I love to sit in. My mom and dad were both jazz musicians, and my mom, she's a music teacher, God bless her soul. And we had the chance to travel all around. She had the chance to travel. I hope I get a chance someday to do that. But she had a chance to travel all around the country, playing shows across Broadway. And then my dad did some studio recordings, and he used to play funk and jazz. And then that had an influence on how I played. And then after meeting a few guys in New York City and actually recording some tracks with like some rappers from Atlantic Records, I was doing some producing stuff for them a while back. It kind of just formulated into like some weird mixing sounds of taking a bit of the blues here and taking a bit of R&B here, taking some jazz here, taking some Latin here, and then just kind of mixing it together into my own kind of style. With these guys in Musically Inclined, like that kind of upbeat, kind of funk feeling to it. Listen to a lot of like Tower of Power, Earth, Wind, and Fire, going into a little bit more of the modern jazz kind, like a Snarky Puppy, brass tracks, they're awesome. And I would say that that's kind of a way how I've tried to influence my sound in this band and just in general. You kidding me? It would be so much fun playing abroad, like doing a tour in Amsterdam? Oh my God, playing in Amsterdam would be fun. Or Paris, sitting there playing a little jazz club, have the Eiffel Tower next to you. You can't really get that on Long Island, New York. I mean, you could stand by the pencil in Long Beach, but other than that, not really. I think, abroad, just Europe, just backpacking around and just playing in some random pubs, some clubs there would be really fun. Yeah. I could also play ukulele. I played the steel drum for a bit, and I can definitely chunk out some chords on jazz piano every once in a while. But, yep, that's mainly it.
My name is Matt. I own Regrown Recordings. It's a small recording studio that I built here in Baldwin, New York, which is both me and Ronnie's hometown. I reconnected with Ronnie during the pandemic, actually, believe it or not. I started doing recording sessions for the Baldwin Public Library, where I would bring a band in, we would record a live set in the live room, sort of like a concert. I would record both audio and video, edit it, and sell it to the library, and that was like our way of keeping artists working and producing some content during the pandemic. So I had put out a call on social media for local bands, specifically Baldwin bands, that might want to be a part of this. And Ronnie had reached out with this new band that he had been forming called Musically Inclined, which we know today. And that was kind of the start of our work together, because after that, we started talking a little bit more, and obviously he started writing more and more of his own original music, and he came in quite a few times after that in the last couple of years to record his band, record drums. We've brought Joe, the drummer, in here quite a bit to lay down some drum tracks. And the sessions are always really fun. I'm always impressed by Ronnie's songwriting and his arrangements. They're always really interesting, harmonically and melodically. You know, he's really good at writing catchy melodies, and he's always coming at you with something unexpected on the harmonic end of things. So I really do enjoy being in here and getting a chance to experience those arrangements come to life firsthand, and you know, partially being responsible for bringing those arrangements to life on the recording end of things. You know, I definitely look forward to hearing the result of all this work that I've done with him, and you know, seeing these songs get out into the world and seeing where it goes next, because I know he's got quite a bit up his sleeve. You know, he's got a lot of really interesting influences, and you know, it's always a pleasure to have him come in here and just kind of see where he's going next and what new sounds he's been able to pull out. Yeah, love Ronnie, love working with him. You know, he keeps things interesting, and you know, it's really a pleasure to record him and Musically Inclined. All a bunch of really great musicians, and I look forward to seeing where they go.